ladies, Dionysia here. I wanted to take some time out with you today to speak to you a bit about some things that have been on my mind since the end of our pilgrimage, and in relationship to some questions that I've been getting from you all about the Embody Your Feminine program. So during pilgrimage, the last day of pilgrimage, my guest speakers were my dear friends Norma and Nisha Burton, and Norma has been a shamanic psychotherapist for many years, and she was sharing during our interview about a study that was done once back, I think she said in the 90s, where they asked shamans from all over the world to submit pictures of or images of how they mapped psyche. So all of these shamans had drawn on their drums, so using shamanic drumming to get into trance state or to get into shamanic states where you can go and explore the realms of psyche. So many of these shamans from all different parts of the world had been drawing the map of psyche on their drums. Well, now there's this collection of those drums from different shamans all over the world, and the map is similar if not the same. So we know, for those of us who work in the realms of psyche, that psyche works like a map. It's like our unconscious, the unconscious of the human mind, both individually and collectively, has a map. It has specific places to go on the map. And in the pilgrimage, we did do some journeying into one of those places. And the reason that I wanted to talk to you about that today, because I've been thinking a lot as I've been fielding your questions about Embody Your Feminine, what makes this program different? There are several things, but the thing that comes to mind in relationship to this thing about the drums and the map of psyche is that, like I shared with you in my last video, in working with women around sexuality and intimacy for 20 years now, and working with our bodies and expressing our femininity through our bodies, what I came to see in many kinds of circumstances, both in group fields and in individual one-on-one coaching, is that when we're working with sexuality, we're working with a very big energy. It's the energy that creates life. It's a very powerful energy, and that's why it really behooves us as women to learn about our own anatomy and our own sexual desires and what creates intimacy for us. And for those of us who have any kind of attachment trauma or insecure attachment, then learning how to become secure in our attachment system. And that's a deep realm. There's so many aspects of that in terms of how we learn about sexuality and how we bring sexuality to our intimacy, with ourselves and with another. And also, whenever we're working with that big an energy, that powerful of an energy, it is going to bring things up. It's going to bring things up from our nervous system. It's going to bring things up from our emotional bodies. It's going to bring things up from psyche. So for me, as I was contemplating creating this program, I really wanted to address all of the aspects of what I feel is desirable for women in terms of how we become the biggest expression of ourselves, the fullest expression of ourselves. We talked about in pilgrimage about the full spectrum woman, and I'm really devoted to being in service to women coming into their full spectrum expression. And to do that, we have to be able to address all the various aspects of ourselves, including and especially psyche, and all of the ways that we tucked parts of ourselves away, or we split parts of ourselves off, or we've hidden parts of ourselves. These things are all related to trauma, to even just, very challenging experiences, and how psyche functions to be able to take care of itself, to be able to survive in a lot of cases. And when we add to that the knowing, the knowledge that how we perceive the world and interact with the world is through our nervous system. Our nervous system is sort of the gateway between our internal world and our external world. And often when we are not in our embodiment practice, when we are not really rooted down into our pelvic bowl and into our sexuality, our body is running past programs. What does that mean? It means that if we were to think of our life experience in percentages, 80% of what's happening is coming from the body. The way that the brain and the body exchange information, it isn't largely coming from the brain. It's the other way around. 80% comes from the body to the brain. Here's some information, brain, about what I'm experiencing. And the other 20% is from brain to body. Here you go, body. Here's some things that you need to be able to take care of this experience. So when our bodies have either unresolved trauma or habituated patterns, or both, usually those two things are linked, right? Not always, but usually, then we often think we're learning things, we're getting new information, we read another book, we listen to another podcast, but until we get our body to know it, that's only 20%. The other 80% is still holding whatever happened in the past, and oftentimes it gets compounded over time, right? For example, when we have experiences at puberty that tell us things about our bodies, or tell us things about our sexuality, or tell us things about what it is to be a woman, our body takes that in. Our nervous system arranges itself around that. And then when we have our first sexual experience, that's another piece of information for the nervous system and how the body is going to handle intimate relating. And then we go and we have another experience and another and another and another. And so it all sort of becomes this patterned way of being. So this is why we can have spent years learning, studying, going to workshops, but if we haven't taken all of that information and taught our body how to use it by giving psychosomatic release, by teaching our nervous system how to expand, how to grow its capacity for greater pleasure, more relaxation, greater resilience, then we're going to feel frustrated with ourselves, because we're going to think, well, I've been doing this all this time. I've spent so many years at this. Why is it not changing? Well, that's why it's not changing. It's because our body, so much of what our experience is coming from our body. Our body is running the show. It's telling brain how to be, how to think, how to feel, right? And, the brain, the mind, the function of the mind, the purpose of the mind is to keep the body safe. And so when body is revved up and body is feeling anxious or frustrated or nervous or overwhelmed, then the mind starts creating stories to explain. Oh, you know what that means? That must mean that we haven't done enough work around this, or it must mean that we don't have enough money, or we're gonna end up homeless, or we're never going to find love, or I'm in this relationship with somebody who doesn't really get me, right? There are all kinds of stories that the mind makes up, and they're always, almost always, unless we've trained it otherwise, based in fear, because that's the job of our mind. Our mind is meant to protect us and keep us safe from danger, and so it's always on the lookout for danger. That's why that amygdala just gets really activated. So when our bodies are in a constant state of activation, or we go in and out of it, and this, by the way, gets exacerbated at menopause and perimenopause, and that whole trajectory of perimenopause and postmenopause, that's a chunk of time. It can be up to a third of our lives, ladies. During that period of time, while our hormones are changing wildly and dramatically, and if our liver needs help, or our gut needs help, or our adrenals need help, then they're going to be, affecting all of that too. Then the body feels like there's something wrong. And the mind makes up stories about what it is that's wrong. So in an ideal scenario, what we want is for our body, the 80%, to feel good. We want her to feel safe. We want her to feel like I'm good in my own skin. I've got myself. I have my confidence. I have my sense of safety and well-being. I have my sense of security. And that informs the mind. And then the brain, the mind is, we're training it too while we're informing the body. So that we've been by and large, I think in the personal development movement, out of balance. And especially this is true if your background is based largely in the study of male spiritual traditions, especially things that are about transcending the body or transcendent meditation or any kind of meditation that's about taking you out rather than coming down in. So embodiment, women's wisdom, is about coming down in. It's about being in the body. It's about coming down and helping this body. And if you've been with me for a while, then you know that that's my area of expertise. And we do a lot around the womb and around our pelvic bowl and around movement and all of those things. And if you're new to me, then the more you get to know me, the more you'll know that that's really my passion. And it is the thing that is lacking in almost all of what's available for our growth and our trajectory as women, and it's the thing we most need. So for me, in creating Embody Your Feminine, that's what I really focused on. How can we, what from my wheelhouse can I offer you that would help you get into that place of your body being relaxed and safe and open and receptive and magnetic and radiant. So we can't get to magnetic and radiant if we don't have those other things in there first. In addition to that, from a spiritual perspective, if we talk in terms of percentages, we want 80% of how we navigate the world to come from our connection with our higher self, to come from our connection with Goddess, with our what higher power we're devoted to. So we want to be cultivating that connection ongoingly, like daily. And then 20% comes from how our mind navigates the world. By and large, we're switched. Most people navigate the world 80% in their heads, like running all those fear programs, running from one thing to another, overwhelming and stressing out their nervous systems, creating a lot of anxiety for themselves by how they're thinking. And they live in sort of a disconnect from that spirit part that helps us to navigate with ease and with flow. So that's another huge component of Embody Your Feminine is what do you do to keep yourself connected to that source on the daily? First thing in the morning for sure, but then how you're going to touch it through touch points throughout the day as well. And this is one of the biggest things that I see women not do throughout my entire career is it isn't that they don't know that they should have a spiritual practice in the morning, and it isn't that they don't know that they should move their bodies, and it is that they don't know, it's that they don't do it. So why don't we do it? The reason that we don't do it is because there's so many entrained patterns in our bodies, and as soon as we feel any kind of stress, we switch right back into those entrained patterns. So the thing that we need to do is build new habits, build new patterns. So with Embody Your Feminine, we're definitely going to be doing that. We're going to be establishing feminine-oriented, feminine-based movement, touch with your own body from the very beginning of the program that you can build into a daily practice that's going to become your morning ritual, and that's going to be unique to you. We're going to be talking a lot about that throughout the 4 months of this program, so that when you leave the program, you've already developed this habit, you've already got it ingrained, and you can continue to do it and have it become an anchor point for you throughout your everyday. This is so important. It's one of the biggest things that women are missing, and it's one of the biggest things they don't do. And, again, it's not because they don't know. It's not that they don't know that they should do it or could be doing it. It's that those old and trained patterns are running the show and prevent us from doing it. We forget, right? And then if you've got any kind of brain fog going on for a variety of reasons, especially through that perimenopause, menopause portal, then you're definitely gonna forget. So the intention for me behind Embody Your Feminine is to help you do that, help you create and create that habit and help the nervous system to grow and expand around it so you can hold it, so you will do it. For what purpose? Well, you'll feel better for one thing, but also you'll feel more contained and more centered and less like you're being blown about by all the winds of change that are blowing through our world right now. We have huge winds, huge waves, huge tides moving through the world. I don't have to tell you that. I know you know that. You're feeling it. If you're a sensitive person at all, you're definitely feeling it. And you're seeing it, you're witnessing it, right? Like that's the time that we're in. That's the era of time that we're in. And ladies, we all incarnated to be here during this time. It is not an accident that you're alive right now. It is not an accident that you're having whatever experiences that you're having. It is what you came here to experience. It's what you incarnated for. So through this program, it begins on November 11th and it goes for 4 months. That's through March 17th. We're going to graduate through the program right at spring equinox of 2026, which, by the way, is in the turning point. So all of the astrologers, you know, I'm talking about astrology all the time. It's one of my favorite divination tools. It's one of my favorite ways to track what's happening and understand energy patterns. This particular energy that we've been in since the beginning of this year and even before that is going to continue all the way into the end of February of 2026. And that's the point where the energy is going to shift. It's not necessarily going to get easier or better in the way that we usually think about better, but it is going to shift. It's going to become a different energy pattern. But in this energy pattern that we're in right now, we have opportunity because of so much light flooding onto the planet. And so if we learn how to move with the energy currents rather than having them just like rock us all the time, then we surf the waves rather than continuously finding ourselves underneath them. And learning how to really help our bodies align with our heart, our spirit, and then the mind to come in behind that so that we're navigating through these times and through our lives from a much more secure internal space. So that's ultimately the point of this program, is to help you be able to do that. I've had women asking me, you know, are we still going to be talking about sexuality? Absolutely. It would almost not it wouldn't even be a true expression of a program for me if there wasn't sexuality in there. So there is definitely a chunk around sexuality and even around relationships, because so much of what our world is about our relationships, right? From the very intimate ones with lovers and husbands and boyfriends and those things, or girlfriends, whatever's true for you, but also with women and with our colleagues at work and with our communities. So we're definitely going to be talking about sexuality, intimacy, and relationship in this program as well. It's just that this is the first program that I'm offering where we're going to have all of those other aspects in relationship to it. It really truly is meant to be a whole being, whole woman kind of experience, so that you walk out feeling like you really are an embodiment of your feminine, your unique expression of the feminine. So I hope that clears up some of those things that some of you have been asking me about. And I'm here for that. I'm here for taking a stand for the rising feminine on our planet. And what does that mean for the feminine to be rising? It means she's embodied. It means she's got herself. It means that she has all of those things that I just named in her wheelhouse, in her being. It's in her body. You know, I think there's so many of us who are like in our 40s, 50s, 60s right now who came here to be the pattern breakers for our lineage. In fact, I know that's true because the majority of my clientele is that. So many of us came here to be that and to do that. The thing about that is we are meant to come to a point where we finish that. Maybe it's not like finished, like we never think about it again or never feel it again, but we're not meant to be recycling trauma all throughout our lives. Come on, that is not what we're on this planet for. We have an opportunity to move through that and to live in a new expression of ourselves. We're meant to alchemize it and move forward. We're not meant to keep recycling it all the time. So that's one of my gifts. It's one of the biggest pieces of the work that I've done throughout my career, is help women to do that. So if that sounds like you, this program could be a really good fit for you. And I would love to get to chat with you about it and see if this program feels like a good fit for you. The way to do that is to book a call with me. So let's get on a call. Let's talk it out. Let's talk about what's up for you, what's happening for you. And then we can talk about whether this program might be a good fit for that. in any, whether you decide the program's the right fit or not, just to sit and have a phone call together and get to be with each other around this. That's my dharma. That's what I'm here for. So please take me up on this free phone call that I'm offering to you. And let me serve you. Let me see how I can help you. So get on one of those calls with me. The early bird prices for the Embody Your Feminine program lasts through November 1st. On that day, they change and the program goes to full price. We begin on November 11th. If you book your call with me between now and November 1st, you secure the early bird prices. And I would love for you to get to have that. So it's just simple. Just go click the link and book a call. And let's connect and let's talk it through. So for those of you who had expressed interest in the Woman's Fear, Woman's Power 90-minute workshop that I'm doing next Monday, November 3rd, I wanted to let you know that some of you had gotten back to me saying that the sign-up form wasn't on the page. I've gone and fixed that now. So you're able to go and sign up. So then you'll get the Zoom link and all the information for that workshop. That's 90 minutes on Monday, November 3rd. We're going to be talking about woman's fear and how we alchemize that to bring it into our power. It's one of my favorite things to do with women. It's one of my favorite things to talk about with women. I hope to see you there. That sign-up form is there for you now so that you'll be sure and get the call link. Okay, ladies, I'm so full and overflowing with so much to be offering you right now. And for those of you who are ready to be on the journey of your reclamation, who are ready to take it deeper and really live it in your body, I would love to hear from you. I'd love to be talking with you and hearing what's happening in your world and how I might serve that. Okay, for now, sending so much love from my heart to yours. Blessed be.